One day you suddenly gain the power to freeze time. What would you do with it? Would you become a superhero and uphold justice? Or would you unleash your darkest desires in a world without moral constraints? Yuri, a 22-year-old recent college graduate, dreams of finding a steady job in the city like most people. However, after her 19th failed job interview, she feels a bit down. Her sister calls her, asking Yuri to pick up her nephew Makoto from kindergarten. Makoto is a lively and lovable kid born when her sister was very young, and Yuri adores him. To support Makoto, her sister works hard every day, making her the most proactive member of their family. In contrast, Yuri's brother spends all his time at home playing video games and has no job, while their father is also unemployed and idle at home. Annoyed with her gaming-addicted brother, Yuri makes him go pick up Makoto. Although the kindergarten teacher is suspicious of him at first, he manages to collect Makoto. On their way home, however, they are kidnapped by a group of mysterious people. At 6:49 p.m., Yuri receives a call from the kidnappers, who demand 5 million yen in ransom. They order her to bring the money to an abandoned apartment building nearby in 30 minutes, or else they will kill her brother and Makoto. Yuri's father has been out of work for a long time, and their family has no savings. So, Yuri's dad takes the retirement money her grandfather saved up and prepares to pay the ransom. With no car and only 25 minutes left, it seems impossible to make it on time. Out of options, Yuri's grandfather reveals a long-hidden family secret. He has Yuri and her father place their hands on a magical stone, and then he drips his blood into a hole in the stone. Instantly, 3 jellyfish-like creatures fly in and enter their bodies, freezing time at 6:59 p.m. This special ability has been passed down through their family for generations. They call the world they enter when time is stopped Stasis. In Stasis, only the 3 of them can move, while everything and everyone else remains frozen. This gives them the perfect opportunity to go to the abandoned apartment and rescue Makoto and Yuri's brother. They expect a smooth rescue, but they encounter another group of people who can also move in Stasis. Yuri and her family are quickly subdued, and they learn that the kidnappers plan to kill them all, except for her grandfather. Yuri is in danger as the kidnapper is about to kill her. Suddenly, her grandfather uses his special ability to teleport them to safety on the other side. However, his teleportation powers are limited and can only move them a few meters away, not enough to escape from the kidnapper's grasp. They are still in danger, and Yuri and her family need to come up with a new plan to escape. One of the kidnappers, furious, pulls out a knife and threatens to kill Makoto. At that moment, a monster being known as the Handler appears and crushes the kidnapper's head with one hand. The Handler is the guardian of Stasis who watches over people who are frozen in Stasis. If someone tries to hurt those people, the Handler will kill them to make sure the frozen people stay safe and the rules of Stasis are followed. Yuri's grandfather teleports himself and Yuri out of danger, while her father is captured by the other kidnappers. Since Yuri's brother and Makoto are both in a frozen state, the Handler is there to protect them. Right now, the main goal is to rescue Yuri's father first since he isn't protected by the Handler, as he isn't frozen. Grandpa tells Yuri to hurry home and retrieve the sacred stone that allows them to enter Stasis. Different moments in time create different stasis, so if they can grab the stone, they can escape the stasis and enter another one to avoid the mysterious gang. Even a millisecond time shift can result in a completely different stasis. Unnoticed, a jellyfish-like creature flies out of the dead kidnapper and enters Yuri's brother's body, changing him from a frozen to a non-frozen person. He rescues Makoto and escapes the abandoned apartment. Yuri races home to get the sacred stone, but several men have already ambushed her there. One of them becomes infatuated with her and pins her down. Just as she's about to lose consciousness, her special ability is activated. If she touches anyone, the jellyfish inside them will be removed, freezing them in place. Shoko, the leader of the kidnappers, explains that the jellyfish are called specters, and that the kidnappers can enter stasis because their bodies have merged with specters. Once the specters are removed, they are expelled from stasis. After a struggle, Yuri escapes with the sacred stone. When looking at Shoko, she has a vague feeling that she has met Shoko before when she was a child. It turns out that Yuri's family members all have a chance of getting special ability when they're in stasis. Grandpa can teleport in an instant, and Yuri has the power to banish specters. As for the other family members, their abilities haven't awakened yet. Meanwhile, Grandpa follows the bad guys to a creepy cult base called Genuine Love Society. Sneaking inside, he's shocked to find that the cult has installed cameras all over their home. Their real goal is to take the magical stone. Worried that Yuri will be attacked at home, Grandpa rushes back, hoping to save her. On the other side, the cult leader Junji and his followers are wandering around in stasis. It's Junji's first time in stasis, and he's curious about everything. Months ago, Shoko told Junji about Stasis, and he wanted to enter. Shoko said that there was a main stone in Yuri's family's possession and a secondary stone in the cult's possession, but they couldn't use it unless the main stone was activated. That's why Junji planned the kidnapping. Junji purposely has one of his followers act like he's going to kill the frozen people, which lures the handler to attack him. But this time, the handler is much smaller than before. Junji guesses that the handler loses power each time it kills someone, so the more it kills, the weaker it gets. This time, the specter also comes out of the dead follower's body and goes straight into the Makoto's body. Now, the whole Yuri's family can move freely in stasis. Makoto is super curious about everything around him. In the frozen world, laws and morals don't matter, and the thugs hired by the cult leader are running wild in the streets. They spot Yuri and try to grab her, but Grandpa saves her with his teleportation ability. Yuri asks Grandpa if she's been in stasis before. He tells her that when she was young, her beloved dog was about to die, and he brought her to stasis to comfort her. But the dog couldn't move in stasis, making it no different from being dead. With no other choice, Grandpa brought Yuri back to the real world. In her sadness, Yuri accidentally almost dispelled Grandpa's specter. As they remember this, they're attacked by the thugs again. Yuri decides to fight back. Grandpa teleports the thugs to Yuri, and she takes care of dispelling the thug specters, kicking them out of stasis. Using this tactic, they defeat many enemies along the way. After hiding the sacred stone in a tree at the cult's hideout, they decide to rescue Yuri's dad from the cult's base. Inside the cult's lair, another thug has a murderous thought towards a frozen person, and the handler slaps the thug to death. There are too many thugs breaking stasis rules, and the handler finally runs out of energy, turning into a pile of sand and dying. As Shoko clears away the sand, she discovers a human body inside the handler. These terrifying monsters were actually people. 17 years ago, Shoko's family accidentally found a secondary stone. On their way home, her brother cried, and his tears fell into the stone's hole. At that moment, Yuri's grandpa activated the main stone to comfort Yuri, who was sad about her dog dying, and took her into stasis. Shoko's family also entered stasis with the secondary stone. The silent world made them desperate. Shoko's father believed it was the afterlife. He gave up on living, and his body was consumed by specters, turning him into the handler. Shoko's traumatized mother and mentally weak brother were also consumed. Heartbroken, Shoko wandered the streets without the will to live. Just as she was about to be consumed by a specter, she luckily met Yuri, who drove the specter away, expelling Shoko from stasis. Over the years, Shoko couldn't forget her family. She told Junji about stasis, pretending to explore it, but actually wanting to use the genuine love society to enter stasis and save her family. A cultist named Seiko feels pity for her and decides to help her find her family. Meanwhile, Yuri's dad is enjoying afternoon tea in the cult's lair. Junji had talked to him earlier and found out that he knew nothing about stasis. Junji realizes that Yuri's dad is morally weak and greedy, so he treats him well, planning to use him to fake peace with Yuri's grandpa and then capture them. Yuri and her grandfather avoid their sight and secretly rescue Yuri's dad. Yuri's dad blames grandpa for not using the power of stasis to make big money. However, his opinion doesn't matter because he doesn't have any say at home, so he's forced to leave with Yuri and her grandpa. Elsewhere, Yuri's confused brother and Makoto try to go home to ask grandpa what's going on, but they are followed by a cultist who plans to kill them. Under Yuri's brother's protection, Makoto successfully escapes. After an intense fight, Yuri's brother uses his age and size advantage to kill their attacker. It's his first time killing someone, and although it's in self-defense, the day's events leave him mentally broken. As he lets a specter take over him, Yuri arrives just in time to expel the specter and save her brother from stasis. Makoto escapes and runs into Shoko, who decides to use him as a bargaining chip with Yuri. Shoko knows that inside the handlers are actually people, so her family must have become handlers. She plans to attack frozen people in stasis to lure out the handlers and have Yuri expel their specters, allowing her to find her family. Yuri doesn't understand why Shoko can't just ask for help and instead kidnaps her family to force her cooperation. Shoko explains that she had approached Yuri's family before, but seeing their happy life, she didn't think they'd risk entering stasis to search for strangers turned into monsters. That's why she resorts to kidnapping. Shoko tries to attack frozen people in stasis to bring out the handlers, but no matter how many times she tries, she can't muster any killing intent. Yuri's father gently touches a frozen person in stasis, and his powerful killing intent instantly summons 3 handlers. Yuri uses her ability to expel the specters from all 3 handlers. Inside the monster shells are Shoko's parents and brother, who have been changed beyond recognition by the passage of time in stasis. However, her brother still shows signs of life and can recover if they leave stasis. Seeing that Yuri has helped her find her family, Shoko returns Makoto to her. Yuri hugs Makoto tightly, feeling the pain of Shoko's loss even though they've been apart for just one day. Yuri decides to seal stasis, determined not to let the tragedies caused by the passage of time happen again. After settling Shoko's family, their goal is to kick all the cult members out of stasis and smash the sacred stone so stasis will no longer exist. Shoko and her helper Seiko decide to join them in completing this plan. Meanwhile, a cult member named Jack finds traces of someone touching the pool in the cult's courtyard. He quickly realizes that someone hid an item in a tree and accidentally dirted their hands, then washed them in the pool. Climbing the tree, he finds the hidden sacred stone. Excited, Jack rushes to report his find to Junji. At the same time, cult leader Junji is discussing strategies with his subordinate Shiomi. To get Shiomi's help, Junji offers to give Shiomi the Genuine Love Society when their plan succeeds. Jack overhears their conversation and believes Junji only cares about the sacred stone, not growing the Genuine Love Society. The disenchanted cult member refuses to give Junji the stone. Junji has already planned for this, though. He lets a specter invade his body, then uses his powerful mind to control the specter. This way, he transforms into a clear-headed, self-aware handler. He quickly kills Jack and other traitorous cult members. No one notices that Jack, due to his strong body, isn't dead right away. His consciousness fades, and his body, invaded by the specter, also becomes a handler. Junji sees Yuri's frozen brother and thinks he can use him to threaten Yuri's family. So, he carries Yuri's brother and goes to a mall with Shiomi, where he eats a lot to regain strength. When Yuri learns her brother has been taken, they split into 3 groups. Yuri's dad takes care of Makoto, while Shoko pretends to rejoin Junji to rescue Yuri's brother. Meanwhile, Yuri and her grandpa secretly protect Shoko. Junji senses Shoko's disloyalty and wants to kill her. As Junji ate a lot of food, his body became bigger and stronger. Shoko is no match for him at all. Yuri and her grandpa use teleportation to arrive just in time to save Shoko. This is actually part of Junji's plan to draw out Yuri's grandpa. Shiomi, hiding in the shadows, takes the opportunity to wound Yuri's grandpa and collect his blood, then leaves with Junji. Junji drops the grandpa's blood into the sacred stone, reactivating it. It turns out the person that the blood belongs to will be expelled from stasis. Junji's goal is to first expel Yuri's grandpa from stasis because his teleportation power is too strong. Without grandpa's help, Yuri and her family can be easily defeated. The specter flows out of the grandpa's body. Yuri asks her grandpa to teleport her to the sacred stone. She shatters it, and the specter returns to her grandpa's body. With the sacred stone destroyed, everyone is trapped in stasis, and only Yuri can help them leave by dispelling the specters from their bodies. However, Yuri can no longer leave stasis herself. Junji and Shiomi rush over and see the sacred stone shattered. Shiomi quickly betrays Junji and joins Yuri's side because he knows that with the sacred stone destroyed, everyone is trapped in stasis, and only Yuri can help him leave. Shiomi tells everyone Junji's weakness. After becoming a handler, he must eat regularly to replenish nutrients. If he doesn't get enough nutrition, the specter inside him will go out of control and attack Junji's body. As for why Junji risks becoming a handler, his intentions are to do whatever it takes to witness history and the fate of the universe. Junji learns that the specter can help people move in stasis and also freeze them in the real world. That's why Junji wants to freeze himself in the real world, then wake up thousands of years later to see what the world is like. On the other hand, Yuri's dad and Makoto come across a handler that Jack has turned into. Yuri's dad tries to protect Makoto, but the handler grabs him instead. Just in time, Makoto yells, "Stop, let him go," and the handler listens, doing what he's told. Yuri's dad realizes that Makoto has a special ability to control the handler. When everyone arrives and is confused, Yuri's dad tricks them into thinking he's the one controlling the handler, with Makoto unknowingly helping him keep up the lie. With the handler on their side, they have a better chance of winning against Junji. They decide to attack Junji. Makoto controls the handler in battle, while Seiko uses baseball to distract Junji. Yuri and her grandpa look for a chance to get rid of the specter inside Junji. Working together, their team has the advantage. They find out Makoto is the one with the real control power. Makoto makes the handler choke Junji, who gets weak and eats the handler to regain strength before running away. Yuri and her grandpa prepare to deliver a final blow to Junji. Junji offers to make peace, promising to teach Yuri how to use the specter to enter and leave stasis without getting trapped. But Yuri doesn't care. Junji tells them his family has led the genuine love society for generations. As a child, he followed his father preaching to believers. He thought his father's teachings made the world a better place. Junji befriended a boy whose mom was a follower. One day, they found Junji's dad engaging in intimate relations with the follower. It turns out that Junji's father told the female followers that having sex with him was a talisman from God. This stunning revelation shook Junji's beliefs to the core, changing the way he saw the world forever. Years later, Junji became the cult leader after his father's death. He found records about the stasis and the stone, giving him a new purpose in life, to explore the world. Grandpa begs Yuri to agree to Junji's proposal, because he doesn't want Yuri to be trapped in stasis forever. She believes that letting Junji go would put her family in danger. Unable to change Yuri's mind, her grandfather decides to kill Junji himself. In the final moments, her grandfather hesitates, because Junji knows how to control the specter and help Yuri return to the real world. Now that the magical stone is broken, Yuri can send everyone back to reality by getting rid of their specters. But she'll have to stay in stasis forever because she can't expel her own specter. Grandpa can't bring himself to harm Junji, because he is Yuri's only hope for returning to the real world. Suddenly, Yuri's father appears with a knife and stabs Junji multiple times without hesitation, as killing people comes easily to him. To everyone's surprise, Junji's survival instinct is incredibly strong, and he manages to escape with only his head and organs. Junji's surroundings are covered in thin threads. Yuri's father tries to cut them with his knife, but the threads are so sharp that they slice through his fingers and the knife. To stop Dad's bleeding, Yuri picks up his fingers and puts them in his pocket, then expels her dad's specter to get him out of stasis. The thin threads form a cocoon after an hour, constantly absorbing suspended particles from the air as Junji tries to recover his body. Yuri begins to feel sad for not being able to say goodbye to her dad properly and worries about being alone in stasis forever. Grandfather notices Yuri's thoughts and is determined to never leave her alone no matter what. They decide to say goodbye to Makoto first and send him back home because it's too dangerous in stasis. Shiomi discovers that the threads are created by the specter, and Yuri's ability can dispel them. After some effort, Yuri dispels the threads and finally comes to Junji's side. At that moment, Yuri seems to see his tragic past. Junji has always thought that he would be very happy if he wasn't born into that kind of family. This strong obsession makes him reborn as a baby. Yuri decides to raise him. Later, she says goodbye to Shoko, Shiomi, and Seiko one by one, dispels the specters in their bodies, and sends them back to the real world. She then takes care of the baby Junji with her grandfather in stasis. Shortly after, Yuri sends her grandfather back to the real world while he is sleeping. From then on, she raises the child alone. 4 months have passed before she sends the child back to the real world for a proper education. Now, Yuri is the only person left in stasis. She starts to realize that there is no sound in this quiet world. She has to keep doing things to adjust her mood. After 3 more months, Yuri decides to take a trip and let herself be happy. The long loneliness finally makes her break down, and she lets the specter invade her body. A mysterious woman awakens Yuri, claiming to be the founder of the magical stone and has lived for many, many years. She invites Yuri to come find her after returning to the normal world. She then brings Yuri back to the real world. Yuri opens the door and finds her grandfather sitting at the doorstep, and it turns out the whole family is waiting for her to come back. As the story ends, Shoko and her recovered brother live together. Yuri's brother no longer plays games at home and found a job, and Yuri's father stays at home to take care of the children. The story starts with a fascinating concept of time stopping, but it's actually about a family's growth. At first, Yuri's family is not likable, with an incompetent Yuri's brother who plays games all day, and Yuri's dad who does nothing but stay at home. But this family gets inexplicably caught up in a mysterious kidnapping case and is forced to rescue their loved ones. Even in the most dangerous situations, no one backs down. Whether it's the game-addicted brother or the useless dad, when their family is in danger, they all step up. Perhaps this is the bond of family ties. In the end, they safely return home and have a perfect happy ending. So what do you think about this anime? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my video, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.